I always feel like before I play a song here, um, that the service has already happened and it's already, everything that could be said has been said, because it's already a full spirit-filled thought and sincere giving. See? It's over. Goodbye, everyone. God bless you all. Yeah. Thank you, Kim, for allowing me to walk through this door and to sit here in front of you all, offering some things that I feel are important on this journey that I've learned, and I think everybody that's sitting here could be right here, standing or sitting, because we all have our bag of tricks that we've attained along the way, that we've learned, that are hard, that have become hardwired lessons into our existence, how we operate, who we are, and so today we're going to do a few things, because a language somehow that I channel things through is music. I've kind of figured out along the way that I'm not really a musician so much as I'm more of a channeler of thoughts that I've had or the thoughts that have come to me. And the best thing I can do is to clear away the cobwebs and the distractions and then flow. And I feel like that's kind of how when we're all in the place, that's what we're doing. We're speaking in the way that we're giving in the way that we can be received. But before we start with that, I want us all to kind of catch a buzz together. I know this is church and all, but this is and it's but it is still technically the weekend and that's right. And so actually, humming has been proven scientifically to do great things in our body. On a physical level, it vibrates our organs and stimulates growth, stimulates healing. On deeper levels, humming, it increases nitric oxide, which actually increases blood flow. So humming is kind of a miracle thing at our disposal we can do anytime, and it's also musical too. Got to turn it on first. So let's do that together. And through humming, we all just connected ourselves to each other, because every sound is a wave, and every wave is going through whatever's in front of it and whatever the sound emanates from. So our collected waves, I'm just fascinated by this, kind of have just permeated ourselves. We have permeated each other. On a sound level, and that's why it's important to be around people that are on the right path, because their sounds go through us also. And so a focus of today's is remembering who we are. And what does that mean to remember who we are? Well, there's so many distractions in the world. And we live probably in the most, everybody, probably every generation might say this, but I think it's true this time. I think we live in the most distracted time on planet Earth. And because of the internet, and because, of course, the computers, the mainframe computers that we carry in our pocket. There's so much noise, and so we have to peel back the layers, and sometimes it's a fight. It's a true fight, but ultimately we have to remember who we are, and then why do we have to remember? Well, we'll get to that. We're just floating here, upside down. We stay so busy, we can't feel the ground, and we miss all this. We're just floating here, connected or not. Our purpose is not so clear. We've somehow forgot. We're here to experience. What are we here to experience? Oh, yeah. Bliss. And it comes in so many different forms. But when we're experiencing bliss, well, love does that. When we're truly in love, in a love state, everything is blissful. But it's simple things that can bring us there. A leaf falling from a tree, a child laughing so hard, your partner opening up, exposing their heart, as we remember who we are. It's only love that we see. 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 It's only love we will be. No, thank you. And as we experience bliss, we create pathways in our bodies and in our souls. The more love and the more positivity and the more beautiful things that we do, they become hardwired. It starts out as software, like I'm gonna meditate for 30 days in a row. Well, a reason why that program came through Kim was because with 30 days, it changes from software to hardware. And that's a beautiful thing. And all these practices, coming here, we could go on and on with what everybody's individual practices are. But we have to remember who we are, because that's where our true purpose lies, when we peel back the distractions. I'm going to tell a little story, and at any time, Quentin, you can put that picture up. So, I was born in San Francisco, but when I was 5, moved to Oak Cliff. That's me right there. And I'm of the age that I was right at the end of the civil rights movement, a child at that age right there. And when we moved to Oak Cliff, my parents, at that point it was my mother, red hair and freckles, who was remarried to a white man, because my father's from India and Pakistan. So it was 2 white parents and 2 kind of brown kids, whatever. But back then, any deviation from white was that you were that. And so we could live so they started looking for apartments in Oak Cliff. And each apartment complex back in those days said, sorry, we don't allow your type to be here. That's the reality. So I'm 60 years old, actually. So that puts me back. I was born in 63. And so this was like 68, 69, And in Dallas, And so we finally found an apartment complex, and they said, the management said, you can live here, but your children can't play with the other kids here and can't swim in the pool. And so that was the rules. That was just the one apartment complex that would allow us to be there. And so my parents had to sit my brother and I down and say, okay, here's the deal. And we had to have a talk, one of those kind of talks. And so that was a bummer, as a 5-year-old or 4.5, 5-year-old. And because you see the kids playing, you see them splashing in the pool, And so my parents, in a beautiful heart sharing, for Christmas one year, they got us, my brother and I, sharing. We got rafts, and she said, "Well, tell you what, you can take your raft outside, and you can go by the pool, and you can kind of, or in the house, in the living room, apartment, you can get in this raft, and you can pretend, So it was kind of a nice gesture, And so I did that for a while, and that's still kind of fun, playing pretend, because it's part of remembering who we are, playing pretend. So, well, one day after playing pretend, it kind of just didn't hit the spot, I took my raft and I put it in the pool. And I'm kind of standing there. And I'm like watching this raft, and I'm like, oh. So, the kids are in the pool. I get in this raft, and I have my paddle, and I just take it. I'm just going around this swimming pool, And nobody said anything. The kids, I was just the king for the day, And so I take my raft down. I go into the apartment. I just feel like a great thing just happened. I was having a good time. Well, later on that night, bam, bam, bam at the door. And it was just my mother at home. She opens the door, and it's the apartment manager. And it was the apartment manager's wife, actually. And so she was talking to my mom at the door, and I just remember looking over there, and the apartment manager was yelling, like, yeah, kid was in the pool, you know what the rules are, you have to leave. And she was going through this. And my mom was like, no, kind of arguing back and everything like that, and she was denying that I would even get in the pool. She was defending me. And so I'm sitting there, and they said, Rahim, come over here. So I walk over, and I'm looking up at these grown-ups, and my mom looks down at me and says, Rahim, did you get in the pool today? And I looked up, and I said, no. I said, I got on the pool. And they both saw in my eyes just the honesty, and the apartment manager melted. They were witnessing just the innocence of truth, and that translated to a melting of a heart, of a cold, kind of a darkness, and so it also reduced everything to how silly life can be when we're holding on to things, And so the apartment people came back to my mother and parents and said, it's okay. They can swim in the pool. They can play with the kids and do all these things. And so a melting happened. And I think there's probably a handful of morals to the story, but a takeaway for me as an adult is that little boy, it's a part of remembering who I am. There was an honesty in that exchange. I didn't go up and I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't have an attitude. I saw what was going on. But I just let truth out. And I did it without adding distractions to the argument, to the conversation. And it's been a lesson I've carried with me, and I forget it sometimes. But all these years I'm still that little boy. And there's still barriers as we make our way through life. And if I can remember who I am, and I can tap into the spirit of that little boy, it has power. And sadly, those apartments are torn down now. Everywhere I lived in Oak Cliff, it seems like everywhere, different apartments, they've all been torn down. And it's a side thought, but I get the sense that there's a big eraser behind me that's just doing this. So let's hope everything's good here for a good few years. So remembering who we are it's important, but in order to, we have to peel back some layers. It takes a long time to get to the starting point. I mean, to see things past the breaking point, and you wonder if you're even on the right track, because you know days that insist that there's no looking back, there's no looking back, there's no looking back, there's no looking back, there's no looking back. So you take a deep breath, get up every day, you climb the mountain, no matter what the voices say, what the voices say, what the voices say, those voices, but they don't know that dreams are not what we do. Yes, dreams, when it all comes down to whether up or down, you, yes, you are the dream. Yes, you are the dream. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So that was a hard lesson. We have dreams, we have hopes, and we have to be real careful, I believe, to not completely connect ourselves to the outcome. Because a lot of times we think of dreams as the dream. I've got a dream of the outcome, and if that dream doesn't come true in the way that we're exactly picturing it, there can be some disappointment there. Bless you. And so I think in our lives we have to know that the process, we have to always focus on the process. I've been going to Mexico a lot these last couple of years. This little island called Isla Mujeres. And on this island, I go there and I test myself. And I see where I gravitate. I just watch myself. I observe. And am I going to go just for the margaritas and the beach? Or something different? And what I noticed in myself, because I didn't restrict myself, I just said, where is my appetite? What am I hungry for? And I noticed I started going to the sunrises and to the sunsets. And I found a yoga place that was really strong. And at this place, they did meditations also. And through that, I realized, wow, this is what I'm hungry for. This is feeding me. And in that state, I started making friends on the island, different owners, expats and entrepreneurs and yoga instructors and all these people. And at some point, I realized that they all knew each other. It was kind of like this little hidden network. And along the way, these are so awkward. I don't know how you do it, Kim. Okay. Along the way, I met a person who was starting a restaurant. And her restaurant is called El Meraki. Meraki is actually a Greek word, meaning what you do with love and passion. And which is it's a beautiful way to do anything. And you put yourself into it, whether it's as a musician or a restaurateur or anything. You put your honest, sincere hopes. And after getting to know each other a little bit, and then in this community, we had breakfast one day, and she sat me down, and she was like, and this is what we all need. This is what we all need. She looked right at me, and she said, Rahim, do you know how powerful you are? You know? And I was like, no. You know? And the conversation went on, you know. But I walked away realizing that I, because of life, I had forgotten that. And I know I am just one of billions of people that have forgotten that, how much power we have. When I come here and I play and I look out, I come here because I feel the power of you all. It's strong. Like even right now, sitting here talking, I feel you. I feel the power of just your softness, your souls, your eyes, and the consistency. You know, there's power in consistency. And that was the beginning, and that was about 1.5 years ago. Even though I've known you for a little longer, that was the beginning of me starting to take it into heart. We all have to get to a point, and maybe I hope you're all there. I hope you were there ahead of me. But if you're not there, I hope you all have that experience where somebody you respect and care about just looks you right in the eye and says, you are perfect. You're amazing. You're what this earth needs, you know. And it was so strong that it changed my life. And it started, these are the thoughts that get pushed away. You know, those thoughts start early in our lives that we're not special, that we're not. And what is it to say special? Special isn't that you're above anything or more special than any. Special is an individual place of, are we living in our purpose? Do we realize the strength we have, the tools we have, you know, to orate, or to write music, or to build a business, or to garden, or to be a family, to be a parent, you know. There's so much unlearning we have to do in order to learn. And so these experiences, and I think you can tell a difference, the people that know me here. There's been a difference in my music since about 1 year ago. It's like something changed from just kind of playing songs to actually being the song, you know. And all these things I'm saying, yes, coming from me, but I'm hoping, my hope is that you're putting yourself in my shoes, that we need to get to this point where we know that we have, and you know, what did Spider-Man, what was that whole, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And so that's the way I feel now. It's more like, okay, I've got some responsibility to myself, to live up to myself. How I do that and how we are doing that here right now is the practice of showing up. It's the practices. It's working out. It's taking care of our temple. It's taking care of our mental temple, our brain, of what we include. What do we allow through the filter, you know? But before all that, we have to get to the root, some roots. And I keep pointing back. We have to get to the roots of where did things change? Where did we start getting cloudy, you know? There's a house where flowers tremble, and the nights are so long and dark, with only struggle sound in the air. In this house, daisies run through the hall, eternal, being chased by shoes and such, only to find refuge in a bed in a room with spotless windows, where glass only works to let the dark out. I'm looking at all of you, tiny flowers. Tiny flowers. Take this love. Find the love. In this garden, things are strange for flowers. It's a place where roots that should be buried deep, but these roots grow up and out. While fragrant petals, they swim in the dirt. Flowers dive in search of comfort. What is that comfort? The comfort. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. We'll finish this cliffhanger. Yeah, that's right. Flowers dive in search of comfort. What is that comfort? Well, as adults, we all have our own places that we escape to, that distract us and help and make us forget that we're tiny flowers. Flowers dive in search of comfort, never knowing that there's no way out except to brave the open air and the giant's foot that will come booming in. And it will come booming in. There's a house where flowers tremble and nights are so long and dark, with only struggle sound in the air. Daisies running down the hall, eternal, being chased by shoes and such, only to find refuge in a bed, in a room, spotless windows, where glass only works to let the dark out. In this garden things are strange for flowers. It's a place where roots grow up and out while fragrant petals swim in the dirt. Flowers dive in search of comfort, never knowing that there's no way out except to brave the open air and giant's foot that will come booming in. Yes, it will. Tiny flower, oh, tiny flower, grow, tiny flower. Take this love deep inside, take this love where you hide. Take this love and understand. Take this love that you can. Take this love like a seed. Take this love where you need. Take this love, you will see. Take this love and grow. Thank you. So I chose that song because in coming up with a message today, which is it's so strange to be in this position, because it's where do you start? And I know Kim does an amazing job every week of bringing something to the table that we can all think about and absorb. And I was thinking, what can I bring? I know I have lots of little snippets of thoughts, of revelations, of, my own truths, but what are universal? And this is a universal thought of mine. And to remember who we are, we have to peel back the layers. And it doesn't mean being a victim. It just means going, where did we start putting up curtains and walls? And where did we close off a little bit? Where did we shift from pure joy and curiosity to distractions, to apathy? Where we have to kind of go back and back and back and back. And I believe that we all have, and it became a cliche maybe 10, 20 years ago, an inner child. Well, I think there's something to it. This inner child, just like I was telling you, you're special. You're lovable. You're a lovely person. I don't even know you, but I know it. I can tell. I can see it in your energy, in your eyes. And my goodness. We have to do it internally. This is my hope today to come out of this, is our experiences are what make us who we are. And so we can't cherry pick what we want to choose as what happened with us and for us, because it all created where we are right this second. Everything has informed everything else to this point. I wouldn't be writing these songs unless I was in that raft. So I can't go back and I can't say, oh, those mean apartment complex people. I can think it. I can call it out. I can name it and say, that was wrong. But I don't condemn it because somehow they were on their path. I have to acknowledge those apartment complex people were on their path. And maybe my little innocent, I was not in the pool, I was on the pool. Maybe that was just a little bit of something that helped them on their path. Because whatever their path is was informed by whatever they had. And my path, I have to be honest to myself and say thank you. And we get to that point. We get to a point where we have to, and I know it's hard to think about some things, but whatever it's taken to bring us to this point now, we end up having to be somehow grateful for. When I talk about the tiny flowers, so many people were raised in tough homes, tough family lives. It's kind of a common denominator, I bet. I bet if there was a show of hands, the majority of people probably had some pretty challenging childhood situations. And not to say thank you for that, but we can say I'm grateful that I got those experiences to learn from and to create the person I am now, because now I know I know who I don't want to be. It's kind of like the thing about posture, I really am grateful for people with bad posture, because it makes me sit up so straight. I'm like, okay, thank you. I secretly, telepathically, I'm like, thank you very much. I'm not looking at any of you right now. I'm just saying, that's not a knock on anybody. That's just when I'm out in the wild, and I see somebody, because I'm just a normal person walking too, and then I'm like, oh. So I become grateful for all I see. And so, lastly, once we have to go inside and we have to send love to our hurts. We have to be the person. I noticed when that person in Mexico told me these things, it was like the freshest watermelon, It was the most clear, cold water. I couldn't believe how much that I was thirsty. I didn't know I was operating dehydrated. I didn't know until I had that well of fresh, cool water there just to soak in and to drink up. And I started thinking also deeper on that of we can't necessarily depend on humans, people, to tell us these things. It's not because they don't care and love us. It's because we don't know sometimes that that we've forgotten or that other people have forgotten. And so we have to go back into our own self, and we have to embrace, and we have to hug, and we have to just love that little us, that little person. We have to just hug them until they're pushing us away. Like, oh. And in closing, when we have peeled back those layers, because if we don't peel back and we get to the roots of some of these things, then the changes that happen, they could be temporary. They're, and it's fine, but it's temporary. It's more like the software. To be hardwired, hardware. We've got to go back to that root. Where did our doors close? Where did our heart start getting sad? And then from there, from that point, that's when we remember who we are. That's the ding. That's one of those phones needed to go off right then. But ding. That's when we become living on our truest path. It doesn't matter if we're 12 or it doesn't matter if we're 79. Doesn't matter. That's the point where we realize our power. And then we can achieve, and we can help, and we can be a positive, much more positive force in this world. Whether it's our neighborhood, our friend group, or across an ocean through our energy. And lastly, it comes down to passing it on, because until we're really strong, we can't really carry. We can maybe only carry a little bit. Carry a little bit of water. That's a good little analogy. How much water can we carry? How much water can you carry? How much fresh, cold water can you carry? Can I carry? Because there's people out there that need, whether they know it or not, to splash in that cold, refreshing, healing water. And if you have peace of mind, throw it. It's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, show it. It's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, grow it. It's a lifeline. If you have peace of mind, know it. It's a lifeline. And we can close keeping the dopamine buzz going of the humming at whatever key you like. Change it to an O. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 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 oh. now. Oh, if you have peace of mind, if you have peace of mind, please throw it to yourself. Throw it to me. Throw it. When we remember who we are. Oh. Woo! We did it together. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Pete. I love all of you very much. I care. I feel your care, and I feel your sincere love. And what we do here, we do together. We create together. We create connection, and it just goes that we're threads in our fabric that we are going to leave here a little more hardwired, a little less software, a little more hardwired. That life is about our connection, and it's about our connection to ourselves, so we can remember who we are, and we can just be in our fullest power, and we can give, and we can share. And so let's take this into meditation. So as we shut our eyes, and I'm with you in it, we can go in, and maybe even right now, we can go to that little kid in us, that little boy, that little girl. We can recognize just how beautiful they are and how much they deserve. They deserved good. They deserve to be loved. And because sometimes we have to acknowledge that everybody's on their own path. And sometimes parents, they don't know. They do the best they can. They do the best they can. And so while we're back there, we can hug them too. We can tell them, thank you for doing the best you could. You can see the whole scene. You can thank the neighbors. You can say, hi, it's good to see you. You are on your own path. best you could. You weren't bad. You're not a bad person. There's not too many bad people out there. Just doing the best you could. And then we can tell ourselves now, hey, you're just doing the best you can. Stay in that state for as long as you want. You can go back there at any time at a traffic light. At home, waking up in the morning, going to bed. And visit that little person as much as you want, as much as you can. Just you sit them down.